So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the revered speaker for today, His Grace Pancha Gauda Prabhu. And all glories to assembled Vaishnavi devotees. We thank you all for being here. As always, today begins a new week. Today is Monday, the 8th of September, 2025. And it is a privilege that we have His grace beginning the week with us. So Prabhuji needs no introduction. He's been so kind, so generous. He's been with us for a very long time, visiting us and sharing his love and wisdom with us at least once in a month. And we do not take that for granted. We truly appreciate that. So Prabhuji, like I was saying offline, we have two verses to cover today. So we will put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Om Jnanatimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swami Upakadamayam Didati Svapadantikam Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I have the shlokas here, or you're putting them on the screen, but I also have them if you want me just to read them. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 12, Verse 27. Chayaya Kardamo Gyadye Devahutaya Pati Prabhu Manaso Dehatas Chetang Jagye Vishvakrito Jagat. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sage Kardama, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma. Purport. Although one of the three modes of material nature is always prominent, they are never represented unalloyed by one another. Even the most prominent existence of the two lower qualities, the modes of passion and ignorance, there is sometimes a tinge of them from the body or the mind of Brahma, were in the modes of passion and ignorance. But some of them, like Kardama, were born in the mode of goodness. Narada was born in the transcendental state of Brahma. Text 28. Vacham duhitarang tanving swayambur harating mana akamang chakame kshatam sakama itina shrutam. So, Vacham Vak Duhitaram one being born of his body, Swayambhu, Brahma, Harating, attracting, Mana, his mind, Akamam, without being sexually inclined, Chakame, desired, Shata, Ovidura, Sa, Kama.
All right, Hare Krishna. So we're having a little bit of connection issues with our speaker. So please, let's hope that you'll be able to come back because his line got dropped. But we will continue with the transliteration. So Kshataha, O Vidura, Sat Kamaha, being sexually inclined. Iti, thus, Naha, we, Shrutam, have heard. Translation and purport by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai, Hare Krishna. Translation. O Vidura, we've heard that Brahma had a daughter named Vak, who was born from his body and who attracted his mind toward sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him. Purport. Balavan Indriya Gramo Vidramsham Api Karashati. There's a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 19, text number 17. It is said that the senses are so mad and strong that they can bewilder even the most sensible and learned man. Therefore, it is advised that one should not indulge in living alone, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. Vidwamsam api karshati means that even the most learned also become victims of the sensuous urge. Maitreya hesitated to state this anomaly on the part of Brahma, who was sexually inclined to his own daughter. But still, he mentioned it because sometimes it so happens, and the living example is Brahma himself, although he is a primeval living being and the most learned within the whole universe. If Brahma could be a victim of the sexual urge, then what of others who are prone to so many mundane frailties? This extraordinary immorality on the part of Brahma was heard to have occurred in some particular kalpa, but it could not have happened in the kalpa in which Brahma heard directly from the Lord the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Lord blessed Brahma after giving him lessons on the Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for being back. You may unmute. You're still muted.
Sorry.
Good.
I lost my network, but I have my phone. I just got on my phone, so I just use my phone.
Okay, so can you read from the screen?
Yes, which one? Where are we? We're on
28. We were just reading the purport.
Okay.
All right.
Let me just read the translation and purport real quick, okay?
Okay. All right.
O Vidura, we have heard that Brahma had a daughter named Vak, who was born from his body and who attracted his mind toward sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him. Purport. Balavan Indriya Gramo Vidvangsam Apikarshati. It is said that the senses are so mad and strong that they can bewilder even the most sensible and learned man. Therefore, it is advised that one should not indulge in living alone, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. Vidvansam api karshati means that even the most learned also become victims of the sensuous urge. Maitreya hesitated to state this anomaly on the part of Brahma, who was sexually inclined to his own daughter, but still, he mentioned it because sometimes it so happens. And the living example is Brahma himself, although he is the primeval living being and the most learned within the whole universe. If Brahma could be a victim of the sexual urge, then what of others who are prone to so many mundane frailties? This extraordinary immortality on the part of Brahma was heard to have occurred in some particular kalpa, but it could not have happened in the kalpa in which Brahma heard directly from the Lord the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Lord blessed Brahma after giving him lessons on the Bhagavatam that he would never be bewildered in any kalpa whatsoever. This indicates that before the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, he might have fallen a victim to such sensuality. But after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, there was no possibility of such failures. One should, however, take serious note of this incident. The human being is a social animal, and his unrestricted mixing with the fair sex leads to downfall. Such social freedom of man and woman, especially among the younger section, is certainly a great stumbling block on the path of spiritual progress. Material bondage is due only to sexual bondage, and therefore unrestricted association of man and woman is surely a great impediment. Maitreya cited this example on the part of Brahma just to bring to our notice this great danger. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachareshtarane. Well, this is the getting to the core, right down to the, they say, nitty gritty, due to our lust and greed. Here's, of course, there's an explanation of Brahma thinking about having a sexual relationship with his daughter. And he actually got rid of that body and he took another body. But for us to try to understand the intricacies of how, first of all, the power of Lord Brahma in creating from his shadow and various ways creating the different sages, and then with his new body, he created Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa in order to propagate, to fill up the universe again. Basically, they're facilitating all of us to be in this material world, to try to fulfill our desires for sense gratification. Because everyone in the material world is looking for happiness, and everyone believes that this happiness will come about by working hard with economic development and creating a very suitable, comfortable situation where one can be happy. And because Krishna in the spiritual world, when he wants to enjoy on a transcendental platform, his Hladini Shakti, his enjoying potency, manifests in the form of Srimati Radharani, and Krishna has a loving relationship on a transcendental platform. In this material world, it's just like rain when it's falling from the sky. It's pure. Once it hits the earth, it becomes muddied. And so we also have that because we're part of Krishna. Krishna's Satchidananda Vigraha. We're also Satchidananda Vigraha. We're eternal, full of bliss and full of knowledge. But now we're entrapped in this gross material body with the mind and senses. And we're still looking for that happiness. Everyone's looking for happiness, but in the spiritual world, the happiness is manifested by serving Krishna and loving Krishna and being with other devotees who are also serving and loving Krishna. And it's a fully satisfying. It's not that it's lacking in any capacity. But in this world, that satisfaction is never achieved. That one may think, a girl may think, only if I had a nice man, someone who can take care of me and can love me. And the same man is thinking, oh, if I had a nice woman, she would, inspire me and serve me and help me in so many ways. But we see how Krishna, he made this Chatur Varnyang Mayasrishtan Guna Karma Vibhagasha, that there's ashrams, there's brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. And the purpose of that is that there's a system for those who are exhausted in this material world. It's like chewing the chewed. Okay, the sugar cane stalk, you're chewing, and then when it's all the juice is out, you throw it away, and someone picks it up and wants to get more juice out of that stalk of sugar cane, and chew again that which has already been chewed. So throughout history, we're seeing how the attachment for sense gratification, man's attachment for woman, or like they say, the Cleopatras, or the beauty and this energy of a woman is very enticing, and it's like irresistible. Only by the grace of Krishna can one be freed from that desire to enjoy in that capacity. So devotional service, as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he showed by his personal example, even though he had a loving mother and a wife, and considered very learned, Nimai Pandit. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas order so he can facilitate and give the conditioned souls an opportunity to take up the process of devotional service so they can actually get this higher taste. And when Prabhupada came to America, we just had a class a couple days ago in Vrindavan, and is just describing how Srila Prabhupada, he was not inclined to take sannyas at all. Even when he renounced family life, he didn't put on saffron. He just wore his uh, Bhaktivedanta Babu, just a sadhu. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta came to him and encouraged him. You follow me. You take the renounced order. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the renounced order of life when the students were being disrespectful and treating him like an ordinary person. Naturally, there was so much respect and so much, especially in India. Maybe not in other countries. They don't know how to respect the sadhu, what they consider. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by taking the renounced order and by giving this principle, he was very firm, very strict, but at the same time, he had many grihastha and family disciples who were also dedicated. But how to balance and how to control that, because this desire for enjoyment is so strong, we're so deeply integrated within us that we're thinking that this is the only happiness there is. This material, you work hard, very, very hard. You accumulate a big bank balance. You have a nice family, nice jewelry, nice saris, nice clothes, nice children, everything. And the center of it is sexual relationship. But this is not real happiness and satisfaction, because ultimately it's temporary, it's illusory, because this body does not really exist. It's temporarily, we're encased in the body, and we're utilizing the senses in order to try to look for that happiness. The eyes to see the beauties that attract us and want to hear the sweet sounds, and the touch sensation, the feelings of happiness. So, although Brahma, the greatest personality, he mentally was thinking like that to show us that even the most powerful persons, those who are um, maybe much more prominent, even as far as the gods, the demigods. But to speak of Brahma, there's an example of Lord Shiva, Indra, and many experiences in this world of great emperors and kings. Everyone is entrapped by this desire for sense gratification, lust and greed. And it's said that Brahma created that when one's senses are not satisfied, the frustration, the anger, and what to speak of fear. Everyone is fearful because we have a idea, a dream that we're trying very desperately to make happen, and we're associated with others who are pursuing the same dream of looking for happiness in this world. Doesn't matter what kind of government we have or what kind of facilities we can arrange. Our peaceful, happy home situation, there's a fire, there's an earthquake, there's a new government, and or there's a war, there's floods. Even the Jamuna now is right up to our Goshala. Around the Parikram path, we're having little boat festivals every evening, just to do kirtan and festivities. And there's so much suffering in this world, and their only relief, they're thinking, oh, if I can, due to my expertise, make things in such a way that I can enjoy a happy life. Even Kardama Muni, he and Devahuti had a very unique experience also, that we've tried to enjoy life after life after life after life. And the great sages, Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, what is a Shaktivesh avatar? Shaktivesh is someone who's empowered by the potency of the Lord for spreading the holy name. And after seeing the struggle that Srila Prabhupada underwent and taking sannyas, I think September 17, 1959, at the Gaudiya, at Keshavaji in Mathura Mandir, and then Prabhupada, everything, how Krishna arranged everything so that Prabhupada can take the message of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who was a Naishtika brahmachari, who was from the personal entourage of Krishna's personal associates, came to this world on the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and that Bhaktivinoda Thakur was praying, send one of your intimate associates, someone who can help push on this mission. And although Bhaktivinoda Thakur very actively preaching and writing books. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati created the Gaudiya Math and very powerfully was presenting this Bhagavat Dharma, the Sanatan Dharma, the philosophy or the clear path back home, back to the spiritual world, and that they were seeing the suffering of the conditioned living beings. So Srila Prabhupada, despite people's absorption in Maya, in illusion, chasing after the false happiness of this temporary world, he would approach politicians and ordinary people, make Back to Godhead magazine, League of Devotees, trying to have trained 40 or 50 brahmanas to come to the Western world to preach this message of Godhead. In the meantime, he's penniless. He's struggling on his own to write, to print, to distribute, and there's no funds. And it was almost unimaginable how he's thinking to spread this message all over the world when people have no interest. And when Prabhupada just arrived in Boston, the 60th anniversary is going to be celebrated now in Boston. Our friend Shruta Kirti Prabhu went there for just to honor that 60th anniversary about telling Prabhupada Leela. And Prabhupada made beautiful prayers to Krishna, expressing his feelings of separation from Krishna, of playing with Krishna and the cowherds in the fields, and once again enjoying the relationship on the spiritual level. And he was thinking, how will all these conditioned souls who are immersed in ignorance and passion, how will they accept this message of Godhead? So many rules and regulations. It's almost unbelievably impossible that one can follow such rules and regulations because that's the basis of one's happiness in this material world. But somehow or other, Srila Prabhupada, he's never compromised. And he, with love and real compassion and tolerance, he gave us an opportunity to involve ourselves in devotional service. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Jana Yashu Vairagyam Gyanached Haitukam. Vasudeva Bhagavati, by service to the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, this knowledge and detachment automatically develop. It's not that one can think, well, I'll just educate myself, study, and I'll practice austerities. Yes, that's a good idea, but the involvement in serving the Lord, this bhakti yoga, what was created was a society because satang prasangang mama virya sangvidho, by the association, in the association of devotees, when we're glorifying the Supreme Lord and hearing his pastimes together, chanting and serving together, that it has a special potency to help us to become fearless, to become free of suffering and anxieties. And naturally, that higher taste will develop. It's not that it's going to happen overnight, but we actually have to want to apply ourselves. Sometimes the question arises, well, Krishna, he's equipoised towards everyone. So why, through the heart, does he inspire someone for renunciation, and also he allows others to become very much involved in sense gratification and lead their way to hell? It's that we have a stubborn nature. We want to somehow be that enjoyer, the Purusha. Everyone is thinking of becoming the enjoyer, imitating Krishna. Krishna, Ekale Ishvar Krishna, Arsa Britya. That just like the sunshine, the brilliance and effulgence, We're just like one of those little molecules of sunshine emanating from the sun, but we have our individuality. So Krishna, he has not forgotten us. He comes again and again in the various incarnations. He empowers the Brahma, and there's many Lord Brahmas, many, many universes, unlimited planets, unlimited living entities. And how fortunate are we, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach, that even though we're wandering throughout the universe, lusty and greedy, looking for happiness, but only meet disappointment, frustration, fear, and suffering. So the idea of samsara, repetition of birth, old age, disease, and death, and suffering, that illusion of finding happiness, that temporary happiness that we're finding in material relationships, and we think, well, Brahma's also having that same problem and issue. He's also, and Lord Shiva, he is also attracted, and the demigods are attracted. So what can I do? We're all attracted. Yes, we're attracted, but that attraction is leading us towards going to a degraded lifestyle. It's saying by performing the activities of a materialistic person whose aim in life is just sense gratification, then that's the facility he'll be given by Krishna and by Mother Nature. That yang vapi smaran bhavam tajatyante kalevaram. Whatever state of being one remembers at the time of death, that state he'll attain without fail. So the little time we have in this human form of life, that just like Mother uh, Kardamamuni Devahuti, she said, I'm tired of my being harassed by my senses and by my mind. And so she's approaching a guru, her son, the incarnation of the Lord. So the guru is non-different than Krishna. Krishna empowered Lord Brahma to with the Vedas, with all his faces. He created all the Vedic literature. Vedanta means the end of knowledge. In the Vedas, the Puranas, the Bhagavad Purana, then the Lord manifests himself in as Srila Vyasadeva. And even Srila Vyasadeva, who's an incarnation of the Lord, he has a guru, Narada Muni. And this Guru Parampara, it's rare to find a genuine bona fide guru, because there are many persons who like to be glorified as guru, Jagat Guru, but the real guru is giving the process and the knowledge empowered by the Lord, not that creating something new. Kapila Dev, he's the Lord himself. He said to Devahuti that I will explain to you this ancient science that I've spoken to the great saints in the past. So it's not a new science. Love of God is eternally existing. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sajikabanoi, that within us, within our spirit soul, as you take the coverings of lust, anger, greed, and envy, and how to get rid of these coverings, which are completely covering our true consciousness, not allowing us to see clearly that we can be totally happy by serving Krishna. But that intense desire that was exhibited by Srila Prabhupada, that eagerness, the enthusiasm, and resolute faith that he has in Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's Guru Maharaj. He was only thinking when the printers were saying, why are you taking so much trouble? You can't, you're not even eating. You're coming to the printers to check the proofs and try to buy paper. And basically, he would spend money for paper and for printing to help others, and he himself was totally neglected on his own in his own way. But he says out of duty, it's a sense of duty. And even though so many challenges and obstacles came, it almost seemed impossible that people would take up this process. But somehow his resolute determination and his faith in the holy name, taking shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I mean, Chaitanya is Krishna himself, Lord Nityananda, Lord Balaram. See him, the impersonalistic views are very much embedded in everyone. And when we think God is impersonal, then there's no need to surrender really, because it's just is we can continue in it with our independent spirit. The idea of guru is that we surrender, that we take shelter of the Supreme Lord through his representative, and we really inquire, why am I forced to suffer the threefold miseries? Why am I forced to grow old, get diseased, and die? Why am I, fearful? Why is this lust disturbing me? Why are my senses disturbing me? And by submitting the surrendering process, just like Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mamekang Sharanang Vraja Ahang Tvang Sarapapi Vyamoksha Shami Masuchaha. Give up all varieties of religion. That's concocted ideas of religion, not that we give up religion. Real religion is devotional service to the Lord. And surrender to me, and I'll protect you from all your sinful reactions. So everyone is living a life of sin in the material world. When you're walking, when you're breathing, and by the activities that we're performing, we're causing suffering to other living entities, and basically are we're accumulating bad karma. But bad karma, good karma, it's all bad, because we want to actually get freed by surrendering to Krishna. He's protecting us from all sinful reaction. And the guru is on behalf of Krishna, repeating the words of Krishna and inspiring the devotees, engaging the devotees in deity worship, engaging us in being tolerant, being kind and merciful to other living entities, these godly qualities of a saint, Tikshava Karunika Suhrida Sarvadehanam Ajata Shatrava Santa Sadhava Sadhabhushana. He's tolerant, he's merciful, kind to all living beings, and he's showing by his example of serving Krishna. But the most important aspect of devotional service is the association. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. One has to be eager for taking up Krishna consciousness. It's like, not that oh yeah, I accept Krishna. I read something every day, and I believe. Believing, yes, but we Prabhupada said, "Do as I am doing." So Prabhupada, even when he's in his room or in his apartment, he would be chanting on his japa beads. He would be reading his books. He only read his books. Of course, when he was translating, he would have commentaries from Jiva Goswami and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sridhar Maharaj, and the acharyas. So the beauty is that we don't have to go researching in the ancient libraries of all the Goswami teachings and books, because Srila Prabhupada, being empowered, and Srila Vyasadeva, from the whole Vedanta Sutta, the Brahma Sutra, and the Puranas, he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam under the guidance of Narada Muni. And the Srimad Bhagavatam itself is an incarnation of the Lord, meaning that if one sincerely and eagerly reads and hears the Bhagavatam, especially in the association of devotees, it's scientifically structured to help clean that dirt in the heart, clean the lust, clean the greed. Akama sarvo kama va moksha kama udadadi, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. We may think, oh, but I still have so many desires and so many thoughts and so many wants and needs that I can't take up the process. No, take up the process. Chant Krishna's holy name. Even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in the midst of the Mayavadis, Prakashananda Saraswati, and all the rest were criticizing that you're a sannyasi. Why are you becoming a sentimentalist, simply chanting and dancing? You're not reading Vedanta. You're not following the sannyas dharma. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my spiritual master considered me foolish, unable, incapable of understanding Vedanta. He told me I should just chant the holy name of the Lord and that way achieve perfection. Of course, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the Vedanta Sutra, all the sannyasis fully agreed and surrendered. Prakashananda begged for forgiveness that how we could misunderstand, we're just criticizing you. So, although it's deeply philosophical, at the same time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made things easy for us in one sense. Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalu, and Asteva, Gatiranyata. That, okay, I might not have a taste for the holy name, but my spiritual masters give me the direction that I should chant the holy name. And Krishna's not different than his name. By calling out the name of Krishna, we're asking the Lord, somehow I've fallen into this material world of suffering. Please pick me up from this suffering of material existence and engage me as one of your servants. And this is the prayer of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nadanan, Najanan, Nasundarin, Kavitang Bhajagadisha Kamaye, Mama Janmani Janmani Ishwari Bhagavad Bhakti Rahaitu Kitve. Nadanan, I don't want wealth. Who doesn't want wealth? Everyone wants wealth. Najanam, I don't want followers. Nasundaring, I don't want beautiful women. Everything that materialistic persons of this world, they want wealth, they want sense gratification, they want liberation. He doesn't want liberation. You know, birth after birth, engage me in your devotional service. So devotional service is the secret in the sense that by surrendering to Guru and taking up the chanting of the Lord's holy name, following rules and regulations, and being busy distributing books, whether you're serving the deities, cooking for the devotees, but the missionary spirit, it consumes one, that we become obsessed or enthusiastic to be in a society of devotees, to have a process that's very clear, have a captain, a guru who's guiding us to cross over this ocean of suffering. Because by our own ability, our own mental speculation, oh, Brahma, how he could think of, having sex with his daughter, and that's maybe overly extreme, that one shouldn't live alone with mother, daughter, or in this way, why would they think that this would be a bad thing? Because it's showing that even great personalities, powerful personalities, are also influenced by the desire for sense gratification. It doesn't go away. We've seen many stalwart yogis, meditators, even in our society, we've seen so many who've taken on the mission, enthusiastically would preach and be very strong, but Maya is also very powerful. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. And Maya keeps those who are not surrendering to Krishna and wanting to imitate Krishna, keeps us blinded by this allurement for sense gratification in this world. So somehow or other, we have to hold on to the lotus feet of and want to serve the devotees, and be part of this mission. Prabhupada was telling his god brothers, I have buses, I have devotees, you're experienced preachers, I will provide everything. So we need to make that conscious decision that yes, I want to. Um, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, really. I mean, how often does Lord Chaitanya appear? How often does Krishna appear? Once in a day of Brahma, once in a day of Brahma. And how fortunate we are that we've taken birth during the time when we have an opportunity. It's like we take it for granted. The Bhagavatam was not available for people. The Gita was being mis how you say explained and commented upon by persons with personal motives. The doctor thinks it's between a doctor and a patient. A philosopher may think this and that. And it's Krishna personally came and instructed Arjuna to reestablish religious principles, and still he came again, but as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, but it's all in scripture. It's all there. It's predicted. And during this time, here we are in what is 2025, and even back during Prabhupada's time in the late 50s and 60s, he said, "Oh, this is such a dire time, such a horrible time. People are suffering so much, and they really need Krishna Bhakti. They need this philosophy." And he was so much trying to make brahmanas or have a few followers who could help him preach this mission. And even he was amazed how Krishna, even after a year of struggle and no success, how gradually Krishna sent devotees. We should not think that, oh, by chance we've taken up Krishna consciousness. Only one who's actually performed greatly pious activities, ahobata shvaprachoto gariyan, yajavagre vartate namatubhyam, that we don't know. Not that we're trying to glorify, thinking, oh yeah, I'm some great personality, but somehow or other, Agyata Sukriti, we got the fortune to have Prabhupada's guidance and the followers of Srila Prabhupada. We can accept as our gurus because they have clear guidance from Srila Prabhupada, who has clear guidance from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, the six Goswamis, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is a rare time, a wonderful opportunity. Many things we may not understand that go on with the higher personalities, or how is it possible that such a great personality could have a desire for enjoying this world, is to show that unless we have completely surrendered to Krishna and the gopis were acting only for the pleasure of Krishna, and all the servants of the Lord, they're only like Dhruva Maharaj. He had many ideas of happiness and inspiration for a kingdom, for wealth. And when the Lord said, "Okay, I'm ready to give it to you now. You've performed beautiful sacrifice." No, no, no. I was looking for simple, discarded pieces of broken glass, but you've given me the gem of your association of being able to serve you. And Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva, what do you want? I just want to serve my spiritual master because I'm indebted. They felt a debt, obligation, just like we have a debt to our parents, debt to the demigods, the sunshine, the rainfall. So many debts are there in this world. But all that debt, you're relieved of all debt by taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada, taking shelter of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And real International Society for Krishna Consciousness is Srimad Bhagavatam, the holy name, and the association of devotees. In managerial attempts, and any organization is going to have difficulties and challenges. But the crystal clear message of Srimad Bhagavatam and the holy name and the opportunity for devotional service. It's a rare opportunity, so we should take advantage of it. Uh, don't take it cheaply. Try to mold our lives so we can have more time for hearing Bhagavatam daily. Increase it. More time for chanting and service. Do something. Prabhupada, we don't want just armchair. Prabhupada often makes the joke that Krishna told Arjuna, "Oh, you just sit in the chariot, smoke your ganja, relax. I'll fight the war for you." No, he empowered Arjuna to fight and to be a warrior to reestablish religious principles, his duty. So we all have a duty. Although Brahmanda Brahmite, not Brahmanda, Bharata Bhumite Hoila Manusha Janmajar, that those who are born in the land of India, but previously India was the whole world. Bharat Bhumi was the whole world. Now we've divided it up into this nation, that nation. He's ordering it's anyone who takes up this process of Krishna consciousness, it's your duty to spread this message by book distribution, by preaching, and by assisting the society in an active way. So if we're not active, become more active. We have little time, not that much time left. I mean, 50 years went by for me very quickly. I came when I was like 19. I'm 70 now. Still have some energy. Try to spread Krishna consciousness as best we can. We're developing Krishna Balaram Mandir. May have a big project, making a big cultural center. We do food distribution daily, thousands and thousands and thousands of plates also to the flood areas. And book distribution, we're doing thousands of books every day, and preaching taking place. So be happy, be ecstatic. A lot of festivals coming. You've got Kartik and appearance days and Prabhupada's disappearance day and Nityananda's appearance day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, and that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. There's no limit to festivals, glorification of the Lord, glorification of the Lord's devotees. And if our business is simply to see politics and associate with persons who are simply desires to enjoy sense gratification in this world, then that's opening the doorway to hell. But if we're happy to be in this society of devotees and really appreciate those who have taken shelter of Krishna and Krishna's message and respect Vaishnavas and be busy and assisting in the spreading of Krishna consciousness, that makes Guru happy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will give full blessings. He's very kind, most merciful. By even though there's the atheistic persons don't like that we're preaching whatever it may be, the Krishna consciousness. They try crucified Lord Jesus. They tried to beat Haridas Thakur to death, and they attacked Nityananda Prabhu. But devotees are tolerant, and they see that these persons in this material world, they're mentally, psychologically disabled, that one cannot awaken to Krishna consciousness on his own. And we need the association of devotees, and we need devotional service to help us get over this lust and greed. Anyway, there's so much to be said. It's quite a intense part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I think it provokes a lot of thoughtfulness. And we're looking into our own hearts and our own desires, and how can we get free from the disturbance of the mind and senses. But that'll come by following the direction carefully. Don't cut corners. If you can attend the morning program, attend the morning program. Chant rounds, hear Bhagavatam, do kirtan, uh, distribute books. This is our austerity. What kind of austerities they performed? Even Prithu Maharaj, a Shaktivesh, incarnation of the Lord, empowered incarnation, and for administration. He gave his kingdom to his children. Then he performed great austerities. It's hard to even understand. But our austerities in Kali Yuga are Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalua Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. You chant Hare Krishna, take prasad in the association of devotees, hear Bhagavatam, and do visit Vrindavan Dham, and surcharge. Make the arrangements, adjust the life in such a way that we can increase our devotional service. I think I've taken up my time. So thank you very much. I know I get down to the basics often. I don't know. I guess that's what I know, basics.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhuji. The basics are the foundation, and we all need the foundation. So thank you for speaking, of course, as always. I'm trying to be mindful of your time, your local time, but sincerely speaking, Prabhuji, your sharing today is very profound, and that means it's also generated quite a lot of questions. So I believe the devotees may have questions. As I do, I have quite few questions from the sharing today. So the devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, realizations you may want to ask, share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections. So, Betravina Devi, please you may unmute yourself and go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Pancha Gaudiya Prabhu. Thank you so
Hare
much for
Krishna.
being here. It's always a joy to hear your I don't know, just very personal, reflective, inspirational, and practical information, knowledge, and experience on the bhakti process and how to stay in it, because it's not always easy. And I'm going to reflect from my own personal perspective of being imperfect and flawed, and the amazing humility of the actual Vaishnavas, such as Bhaktivinoda Thakur and so many others, and how they discuss openly their imperfections and their desires to serve, while serving and being examples to us of service. My question is, how can we, as a community, move in a way that doesn't equate to blind following? There are cultural norms in every geographic region of the planet that we associate with our bodies that are not directly coordinated or associated with this bhakti process. Yet, many times in our communities, depending on who's of what region, we turn our heads. And the knowledge that I have, it's not ever been a desire for anyone to turn their head when suffering exists. The suffering of another is my suffering, is in Shastra, and that cannot be tolerated. Yet, from the humanistic platform of cultural cliques and groups, in groups, out groups, there's a tendency to ignore the suffering of one or many, but it's not relatable to our process. How can we move beyond that and go deeper in our practice of this love, this bhakti?
Very deep question. Very good. I feel Krishna situated in our heart. He sees our desires. He sees and understands, especially if a devotee is really wanting to serve the Vaishnavas or serve Prabhupada, then somehow Krishna arranges for them to get rid of those hurdles or those difficulties, because we may find ourselves in a repressed situation where others are not inclined to maybe to do the book distribution or prashad distribution, or conduct festivals in a very elaborate way, or maybe they're just satisfied with just the basics of doing the bare minimum, just moving along. I don't know. I'm just saying that if you're really enthusiastic and wanting to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna makes arrangements to help you to get the intelligence so that you can actually increase your own personal. That's one thing we have to be careful that we don't try to evaluate others, how you say, surrender or genuine intentions in Krishna consciousness, because we don't know who all the devotees are who are sent here to this mission. So I I think that if we want to strive for perfection, then we should follow the formula that's given there in Nectar of Devotion, that Srimad Bhagavatam, chant the holy name, association of devotees, live in the holy dham. Of course, the temple is also considered a holy dham. So, like as I said, see if we can make arrangements how to get aligned with the instructions that are being given by the spiritual master, so that we can accelerate our Krishna consciousness, that would help us. And by our own, like when we were out in book distribution, I did many years in Miami Airport and traveling Sankirtan, this and that. It wasn't simply by our technique and ability, but there was a certain enthusiasm and empowerment that inspired others, that people were like, oh, this person's like, something special, something unique. Is a certain Shakti that is exhibited by our own enthusiasm to carry out the mission of our Guru. So whether we're in a small temple, big temple, or a humble setting, or maybe living outside with family and have job responsibilities, but still trying to, maintain our hearing and chanting, is do the best we can. The more we want to serve Prabhupada or our Guru and the mission, Krishna will help us by giving us the intelligence how to mold our lives in such a way that we can accomplish that. Not that we can change everything and make everything perfect. There'll always be, geographical and cultural, uh, you know, maybe some ways of not. But Prabhupada made a house where the whole world can live in. And Prabhupada would sometimes say that if you're not satisfied with this, then you take leadership. And he would send devotees, to London, several couples, and they lived on a street. And all of a sudden, the next year, they had a huge Rath Yatra, and the whole of London knew them. And they tied up with George Harrison, and then all of a sudden, we became like overnight famous. And so even though in the most difficult situations we may think, oh, it's hopeless, I don't think it'll ever pull out, let's see if we can work on ourselves somehow or other. And association of devotees, those who are enthusiastic, we need to serve the devotees, and that service mentality will keep us humble. It'll keep us actually in the proper mood, that I am, Trinata Pisunichina Taroda Pisahishnana. And these are some of the thoughts. I'm sure you've thought deeply, and it was a very good question. I hope I answered some parts of it. I know it's hard to explain the whole thing. It's a whole class in itself.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think the questioner is very much pleased with your beautiful answer. Arichakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to you, all glories to Guru Dev, and all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to the assembled devotees. I think I have two questions, but my first question is in the test. It was said in the test that Brahma is the most knowledgeable person. And so, if Brahma is the most knowledgeable person, then what about Saraswati? What is she? Because I understand Saraswati is the goddess of learning. So, if the Brahma is the most knowledgeable person, then what about Saraswati?
Yeah. Yes, Saraswati. I mean, she was also manifested through Brahma, and there's many empowerments are there. Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and understanding, but they said that Lord Brahma is the most qualified personality in the universe, and he's honored in that way. So, I mean, I'm not. We're not comparing, but Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, she was also manifested by the creative potency of Lord Brahma, just like Rudra, who's even more powerful than Lord Brahma, was manifested by Brahma. He's instrumental. Lord Brahma is instrumental and empowered by the Lord to manifest all the powers which are necessary to govern the management of the universe, meaning all the great demigods and goddesses and powerful personalities are emanating from Brahma through the potency of Krishna. Krishna is empowering Brahma, and Brahma is an instrument which is creating all the necessary ingredients of the powerful gods and controlling living beings who are instrumental in serving the Lord in order for the universe to function in an orderly, proper way. So it's hard to calibrate or try to distinguish, well, Mother Saraswati, she's the most learned, so how Brahma is being considered the most learned. But many times people can say, oh, he's the most renowned. No, he's the most renowned. He's the most learned. So it's a more of a honorary recognition, and it's hard to evaluate from our little tiny point of view because we're very tiny and insignificant. We sometimes hear many things and try to rationalize within our mind. Well, how does that work? I sometimes get to that point too. But the beauty of it is that we have such faith in Prabhupada, and this process is so crystal clear that those mentally challenging scenarios, we accept them as they are spoken, and in due course of time, as we mature more and more, then those challenges become insignificant. Just like someone may have many questions, and then after the speaker speaks, oh, you've answered all my questions. I feel fully satisfied. So Mother Saraswati, she'll give you the intelligence how to see that she's supreme, but she also was manifested by Brahma through the potency of Krishna.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And my second question is, basically in the test itself, the test also says that talking about the senses, that the senses are so powerful that they can even lead the most intelligent person to his doom. Now, my question is, I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate. Like Trasanku said that without this body, how would I have performed whatever service that I needed to perform? And we read from the Bhagavatam how Ambarish Maharaj used all his senses to serve the Lord.
Yeah.
The nose to smell the flowers of the Lord, the incense, and all these senses is what helped him become a pure devotee. Now, it looks as if we sometimes I'm talking from the text. The scripture sometimes we downplay the senses so much, and we tend to say that, the senses are not good. The body is not. We are not these bodies, But practically speaking, without these bodies, how are we even going to be able to do the required service that we need to do? So
You're right.
can you give me a little bit of your like Mitravinda Prabhu was saying, that your self-realizations about these senses and the body and whatever.
Yeah, the senses are real and our desires are real. And the process of bhakti and devotion is a process of cleansing the senses and getting rid of the contamination. It's like when one has fever, he's not in a healthy state. So he takes medicine to alleviate the fever so he can function normally. But so the senses are utilized in serving Krishna. And by utilizing the senses, the hands, the feet, the eyes, the mind, everything, and serving like Ambarish Maharaj, Krishna, then the cleansing process takes place, because right now we're encaged, we're shackled by material nature, and we're forced to act by the modes of nature, by passion, by lust, by greed, by ignorance. And the way to cleanse that, Shrinvata Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana, by doing the kirtan, by hearing the glories of Krishna Bhagavatam, the association of devotees, all the misgivings, all that's contamination in the heart is cleansed. So it's a gradual cleansing process. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So we condemn the materialistic senses, but the senses can also be purified and engaged in the service of Krishna. So we don't reject anything. Everything is used in the service of Krishna. And so now we have to just stop using the senses for our personal sense gratification. And by serving Guru and Krishna and the association of devotees, then the senses become cleansed and purified, and they'll actually be satisfied. You'll feel happiness. Parang drishtva nivartate, a higher taste will develop. And that higher taste is in reciprocation with your surrendering process. So we have to continue cleansing, keep chanting, keep hearing, and then the senses will be in their rightful condition so they can be useful for going back home, back to Godhead, instead of dragging us to hellish planets.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the question, and Prabhuji,
Thank you.
for the answer. Very, very relevant points. Because anyone else with something to ask or to share, please? Prabhuji, if I may put the 28th verse and the purport on the screen. I have a question from there. It talks about how Lord Brahma became a victim to sex desires, up to the point that he felt attracted to his own daughter. Now, Srila Prabhupada states in the purport that this indicates that before the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, he, that is Lord Brahma, might have fallen a victim to such sensuality. But after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, there was no possibility of such failures. And in your sharing, you rightly indicated that either the Supreme Lord himself or his pure representative, they're all the same. So my question is, how is it that Lord Brahma, after hearing directly from the Supreme Lord, he became freed from these sensualities? And some of us, if not most of us, are also hearing from the Supreme Lord via his peer representative. in the form of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, we're hearing from representatives of the Lord. Yet, most of us haven't become freed from these sensualities. What is the difference? Because I'm sitting here, I have a spiritual master, I've been initiated, I'm hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam by Guru Krishna's grace at least 5 times in a week. But I'm never freed from these sensualities. So what is the difference between me and the Lord Brahma, who is said that after hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, there was no possibilities of these frailties? Hare Krishna.
So we have to take in account that Lord Brahma performed great tapasya and great austerity before he got the darshan of the Lord. And upon receiving the darshan of the Supreme Lord, the Lord gave him the vision of the spiritual world, enlightened him due to his surrender and austerities. So that might be indicative that we're not surrendering and how you say, opening our heart to hear the message purely, because sometimes when we read something or hear something, our mind's already calibrating, analyzing, rejecting, speculating, and we sometimes override what's being transmitted to us by the Lord through the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. So the process that we're following now is the austerities and tapasya, which is required in order to condition ourselves to be suitable candidates to understand and absorb the message of Bhagavatam, so that when we actually hear the pure Bhagavatam and hear the pure holy name and actually awaken that mood of service and desire and see the Lord in everyone's heart and have that intense desire to serve and help the fallen conditioned souls, then the message will penetrate so that we can hopefully give up the torture of the mind and senses for sense gratification. So this is, I guess, when Brahma was fully surrendered, performed his tapasya, heard the verses of Bhagavatam, then he wouldn't be bewildered. He was promised by the Lord. But it shows as an example that from Brahma down to the small ant, everyone is driven by sex desire and by the uncontrolled senses. No one's left off the hook. And so only by surrender to Guru and by performing the tapasya of serving and the hearing and chanting, that we clean the heart to gain the strength for our spiritual advancement and moving forward. I think that's something for you there. Are we still on board here, or did I lose everybody?
We're here. I think I was having an issue with my connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're performing yajna and austerities ourselves, and Krishna was pleased by the sacrifice of Brahma, so much so that he revealed the spiritual kingdom and revealed the shlokas of Bhagavatam and totally enlightened Brahma. So then he became free from this sex bondage and the desire for enjoying, and then he took another birth and then produced, like I said, Satarupa and Swayambhuva Manu from himself in order to increase the population, to give all the conditioned souls a chance to again enter into this world and karmana daivana trena They can be born from their particular mothers and fathers and certain natures and be propelled in that direction. But for those who are fortunate to take this message of Bhagavatam, if Prabhupada did not deliver it to us, and all of us would be in total darkness, slaves of the mind and senses, till the end of this life, which is very short-lived, and then we're lost in the whirlpool of repeated birth and death. So we have a chance now. We have to believe in it and follow it.
Well, thank you, Prabhuji. I am thinking that, excuse me. Yes, Srila Prabhupada did mention in the purport that after hearing the Bhagavatam, there was no such possibility. But there was something else Srila Prabhupada said, even before he said no possibilities of frailties. And I want to put it up here and draw some point from that. That is same 1228. We go down in the purport. Srila Prabhupada states that this extraordinary immorality on the part of Brahma was heard to have occurred in some particular kalpa, but it could not have happened in the kalpa in which Brahma heard directly from the Lord the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Lord blessed Brahma after giving him lessons on the Bhagavatam, that he would never be bewildered in any kalpa whatsoever. So I am thinking that some of us are having these problems of this almost uncontrollable sensualities because we haven't yet received this blessing from the representatives of the Lord. You know, in the case of Lord Vishnu and Brahma, Lord Vishnu blessed him that you're never going to have this problem again in any other upcoming kalpa. So will I be wrong to suggest that those who are in the position of representing the Lord on behalf of the Lord may also give their dependents and followers such a blessing that we do not fall victims to these sensualities?
Yes, I agree. The blessings can be there. It's just the example of the sunshine is brilliantly shining. But if you go in your dark closet and say, where's my blessings? You got to come out of the closet and you got to get into the sunshine. So you have to make yourself a recipient. And people come for blessings, and Prabhupada said, okay, I bless you to stay with our devotees and surrender. No, 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 no. I'm looking for different kind of blessings. So the Lord's ready for blessings, and He'll give those blessings. But yeta among prapajate tangs tatavajamyaham. So apparently Brahma performed the proper sacrifice and became an open the vessel to receive the message and blessings of the Lord. The Lord will give the blessings to anyone and everyone, but those who perform the yagya, like Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj and so many great souls. So we're performing our duties. In one sense, that's our sacrifice, it's our yagya, and we'll also get the blessings of Prabhupada, of Prabhupada's disciples, because there's so many wonderful personalities. We don't know who they are, but if we start appreciating more and more the sacrifice of others, and at the same time, instead of looking, well, they're not so good at this, and they have this problem and that problem, I have this problem and that problem, and why the Lord's not giving me mercy. We got to come out of the closet. We got to go into the bright, brilliant sunshine and let it soak in the rays, and then we'll feel the empowerment of the Lord, and we'll feel the strength from Him. There's many ways of looking at it. We have our fertile minds when we sometimes it says one thing in one way and then something else. And for our ordinary tiny brains and our ability to try to put it all together and visualize it and make it rationally acceptable within our, modern thinking, that doesn't always work that way because there's many, many different angles, and it comes from a higher level and comes from a different dimension almost. But we know we have the true gift of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we have the most exalted Brijabasi, Srila Prabhupada, who's empowered and who has been actually blessed by the Lord to convey this message and help all of us. So we just take it to our ability to understand it, but I think that we have to come out of the closet and let the sun shine in.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I truly appreciate the analogy because if we came out of our closet, we were going to enjoy the sunlight. Unfortunately for me and probably for others also, our closets are not frightening enough for us to get out to enjoy the sunlight. That is the problem. But thank you so much for the answers in particular and in general for being here, even though you are on the down, India, Vrindavan, the Lord's Holy Land, and the time is quite late for you. I don't know if any devotee has other questions or reflections. I have other questions, but I wouldn't want to ask because it will take us a little longer to discuss it, and I'm trying to be conscious of your time. But if anyone has a short question or reflections, please, we may do that before we call it a day. Tribhuvannath Hare Krishna Prabhu, what do you have to share? In fact,
Is that my Tribhuvannath?
Yes, I was thinking.
He's such a nice pujari. What's he doing up so late? He should go to bed.
Yeah, I was thinking of him. I think yesterday or the day before that. I haven't seen him for quite a while, and here he is.
Wow. I'll see him tomorrow morning.
Okay. Well, let me see. Devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, our beloved uncle, His Grace Panchagoda Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us once again. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Mancha kalpa charetischa, kripa sindhya Itana Pavadebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. His Grace
Panchagoda Prabhu Ki Jai.
Tribhuvannath Ki Jai.
Jai. All Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.